Welcome to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast, where high achieving entrepreneurs and leaders come to receive deep, insightful conversations and practical guidance to move from hustle to flow without sacrificing their authentic self and the results. I am your host and Chief Energy Officer, Tammy Cho, a former patient care leader turned international best-selling author, speaker, and face and body analysis expert. Get ready to lead your authenticity, lead your energy, and lead your impact. Welcome, and thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we're going to be diving into something I like to call the self-care trap. And in this podcast, I'll be sharing 4 steps to keep you out of the self-care trap. And so I chose this topic because it's something I have seen show up for myself and for many of the high achieving clients that I work with who are really looking to create that impact and abundance with a bit more work-life balance, more fulfillment, and really step into their leadership to create this, right? And so, of course, when we're on this journey, right, we're really, creating the space to do the self-care things seems like a good thing. When in actuality, this self-care trap can actually keep us replaying subconscious patterns that keep us at a certain level of self-leadership and success, and essentially stuck in this hustle culture. And so many people think that creating the time for downtime to go on vacation, go get a massage, and other types of self-care appointments will move the needle in their business, like health and life, right? And taking regular downtime definitely helps us feel more rested in the moment. And in and of itself, it's a good thing. But if you're looking to expand into your next level of authentic abundance and fulfillment, it is important to be aware and take action on this new perspective I am sharing with you today. So, there was a time in my life when I had all my ducks in a row, right? I was a leader at home, I was a leader in my work, my investments were all organized, and I had it all put together. And often family, friends, and colleagues would come to me for support. I'd be that go-to person. And I liked feeling helpful and needed. However, on the inside, I was feeling drained, I obviously consciously chose to take action to take care of myself, right? And so I would book monthly facials for myself. I booked regular vacations for my family and I. I would go out for walks on my breaks. I went to get massages every single day every single week. And I went to see naturopaths, and I took my supplements every morning. I was even seeing a Chinese medical doctor for some tension headaches I was experiencing. Doing all these things didn't take me out of the hustle and feel more in flow. I didn't feel actually, less drained per se, except in the moment, right? But when I looked at the grand scheme of things, it wasn't actually supporting me. And in fact, actually fitting all these appointments into my schedule added to, this overcommitting, overdoing energy. So if you are doing self-care through the energy of needing to do it so that you could keep on pushing through all the tasks and appointments in the schedule, or if you are doing self-care so that you could get rid of your headache and back pain, is that getting rid of energy? Or if you're doing self-care so that you can check off yet another thing, on your list that you've had on the list for a while and you haven't got around to, giving yourself time for self-care, or even doing self-care, but also going through the motions, but you're feeling kind of guilty about it all, right? So if you're doing all these things, it's actually not moving the needle forward, because the underlying energy underneath doing the self-care is the energy of needing to push, force, fix. It's from doing it from an intellectual place, or doing it from feeling guilty, right? Like I mentioned. And so the energy underneath the self-care was not the energy of truly wanting to love, care, and to nurture ourselves. So when you keep on doing self care through this energy. The same patterns of overdoing, overextending, and overcommitting are actually being reinforced. And so this is important. You want to pay attention to this, right? You can't change the challenge from the same energy it was created from. And you can't elevate your energy, creating decisions from the same energy it was created from. And what I find happens is that when people tell you you need to slow down or do something to take care of yourself, your mind will kick in and tell you that I'm already doing these things, right? And so my mind told me that, right? That I should be fine because I was doing all these things to take care of myself. I even convinced, my doctor, that I was doing all the things already, right? But I wasn't really listening and tuning into my body. I did not know how to lead my energy and take care of my emotions, right? And so when you lead yourself this way, you are reinforcing the underlying deeper challenge of creating your experience through a very masculine energy of problem solving, right? Logical thinking, doing A will get me B and C, very linear, versus shifting into creating your experience through more of a feminine energy of surrendering and nurturing, and essentially the energy of receiving. And this is exactly what keeps us stuck in the cycle of pushing and doing, um, and in the hustle culture, and out of authentically leading ourselves and our energy, because we're looking at things at only the surface level, only at the physical level. Yet, in order to actually create more abundance flow in our leadership, is actually to develop this ability to the energy of receiving. And so, when we learn to tap into this energy of receiving deeper and deeper for ourselves, this is often where I see the most abundance and fulfillment and flow open up for my clients, their business and their lives, their relationships. And this is a big game changer for many of my clients, as many of us, we're not really taught the softer, more nurturing part of ourselves. Like we're not really taught how to nurture ourselves. And I find this is a common, what do you call it, underlying pattern I'm seeing with a lot of high achieving women and men, is that underneath they've gotten used to being independent, right? And out there doing things, taking care of the family often at a very young age. And so they were never, you know, given this opportunity on how to even step into this energy of nurturing and receiving. And so before moving into these 3 points on how to get out of the self-care trap, I invite you to, drop me a note on what you like, what you want to hear more about on the show. This podcast is created to serve you in stepping in or deepening your authentic leadership of your business and life. So please DM me, let me know if you like this episode and what you want to hear more of. And so here are 4 steps to help you get out of the self-care trap. Now, so number 1 is that it's important to really check in with yourself. What is the intention of the self-care? Really check in with yourself. Is it from the energy of the fixing, needing to do, or that you can move forward, or it's from a place of nurturance, love, surrender for yourself? Number 2 is checking in with yourself. What actually do you need? Sometimes it may be on a physical level, and however, often what we've spoken through our feelings and emotions is spoken through that. Sometimes it's our soul's been, yearning for, this part of ourselves. It doesn't make any sense, but you've been wanting to go to this particular, lake, but you told yourself you're too busy to do that. That will take too much of my time, right? It's very much like a plant, like what are the needs of the plant? Is it more water, right? Is it the soil needs to be loosened? Do you need to be nourished with more fertilizer, right? Is it more sunlight, right? Like very much so being a detective for these different parts of you, because you're not just a body, you're not just a mind, right? And so, what I tell my clients is to do regular check ins with what their body, mind, heart, and soul need. The more we ask, the more vocal these parts of ourselves become. So, please do not skip over this point, because not only does it provide the short term gain, but doing it over time creates the long term gain from these from the communication. Like, really tapping into this communication, having these parts of ourselves communicate back to us. And it will speak back to us much more loudly as you connect to these parts more and more. What I find is sometimes when we've been on the treadmill of life too long, we do not realize the degree that we have disconnected from our own needs. And I've created a Lead Your Authenticity Face Analysis video series to support you to empower and elevate your self leadership through using your own face, your own facial features, right? And it's free. It will support you to begin to align your inner and outer energies to see how you show up in the inner and outer world and the degree of alignment between these two. And yeah, in very much a powerful way, leveraging off your own body communication. So you can access this in the show notes below to connect to your inner needs in a deeper way if you feel this will support you. I do highly recommend it, especially if you haven't done this type of work before. Number 3 is, once you discovered what your needs are, create the space to give yourself what you actually need. It sounds so simple, yet this happens again and again with the busyness of life. A lot of my clients really struggle with this, and to actually know what they need and to give themselves that. And so, lastly, number 4 is measure. Set up some parameters to really measuring the shifts in your own energy and your self-care leadership, right? As you're doing your check-ins, like have a little rating systems for these different parts of you and your energy level, energy shifts. And that way you could really, really track it, right? So remember, it starts with leading your authenticity to yourself first, then leading your energy and bringing more of you to lead the impact that you are meant to make as a leader. Again, this podcast is created to serve you to step into and to deepen your level of authentic leadership in your business and life. So please do drop a note, DM me. I want to hear what you think about the show, what you want to hear more of, what questions do you have. Thank you for spending your time and energy with me. I'm grateful for you. Welcome to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast, where high-achieving entrepreneurs and leaders come to receive deep, insightful conversations and practical guidance to move from hustle to flow without sacrificing their authentic self and the results. I am your host and Chief Energy Officer, Tammy Cho, a former patient care leader turned international best-selling author, speaker, and face and body analysis expert. Get ready to lead your authenticity, lead your energy, and lead your impact.